All right, so let's jump into this. So basically, welcome everybody. We're glad you guys are here. As Michael just said, we kind of got the band back together. My name is Kent Clothier, Justin Colby, Michael Burnoff. I'll let them do their own introductions here in just a second. The bottom line, what we are here to discuss with you guys over the next few minutes is that we continue to hear over and over and over about people that are not able to convert their appointments into deals, and whether that is into a deal or into a listing, depending on where you are in the real estate equation. The bottom line is understanding how to take a prospect, take a lead, and bring it into a win-win situation and actually convert it is a massive, massive problem out there. And I know Justin will attest to this, and I'll hand it to him in just a second, but the overwhelming thing that we see inside of our boardrooms, our boardroom mastermind, is people come to us, very experienced people, by the way, and tell us something along the lines of, hey, I think I need to move to a new market, or I think I need to try some different marketing channel, or whatever the case may be. And we quickly get into their business and figure out that, no, you have plenty of leads. You have a ton of leads. And so quickly we assess that you do not have a lead problem, you have a conversion problem. So if you're taking notes, which I highly encourage you to do, the very first thing I would tell you to write down is that's what we're here to discuss today, is that inside of your business, you typically have one of two problems. They can either be categorized as a lead or traffic problem, or you have a conversion problem. And for most of you, I would argue that you have plenty of leads. You do not know how to convert those leads outside of just one way. And if it doesn't fit into a very specific box with a very specific personality topic, and they don't have a very specific belief system prior to you walking in there, you're dead in the water. And so we're going to spend a few minutes here today talking about that, because we have put experts on the phone here. Now, Michael is an expert at all types of sales and persuasion and influence, right? Quite frankly, he is the guy that I turn to. So take that at face value. The bottom line is I've learned more from Michael over the past few years when it comes to the art of influencing people, persuading people, making my ideas the winning idea in the conversation to where they feel good about it and I feel good about it. That is an art. It is a skill. It is not something you're just going to learn by sheer will. You have to study this and clearly understand how to do it. And when you're studying, again, Michael is one of the best, if not the best out there, that we send all of our students and all of our community to. So Michael, first off, I just want to welcome you, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Ken. I appreciate the kind words, and it's exciting. We've been at this a long time, and I'm excited to help some more people.
Absolutely. So I'm going to turn it over to you in just a second. Before I do that, Justin, real quick, I just want to give you your due as well, because Justin is a wildly successful real estate investor that has worked with me for many, many years. He's helped many of our students as well as his own community in the science of flipping. He's got a very successful real estate investing business, as well as works hand in hand with our students inside of Boardroom. He is a key integral part of our Boardroom mastermind, one of our thought leaders. And like I said, he's just been around the business and seen it from so many different angles, not only in his own core business, but in helping hundreds, if not thousands of people out there over the last few years in solving their problems. So the idea here is that the three of us are just going to get in here and talk about this subject for a few minutes and kind of break some stuff down for you and kind of help people understand the structure that is required to be successful here. Justin, anything you'd like to add before we kind of hand it over to Michael?
No, I'm like you mentioned, I'm very excited to be here. Obviously talking about this is something I genuinely enjoy, because this is the major problem in this industry is people don't solve for the wrong or the right problem. They typically solve for the wrong problem, which tends to be there's not enough lead flow, which it may not be the wrong problem in a sense, but it also comes down to, if you don't know your KPIs and you don't understand, like, it only takes you 18 leads to get a deal, well, then sure, you might think there's not enough lead flow and you have 100 leads and nothing pops. Well, now it's a conversion issue. So now we need to learn for myself and Kent and obviously Michael, how do you convert more leads? So this is a hot topic, and it's something you guys all should be listening to, taking notes, focusing on. Is this is the name of the game. It is marketing and it is sales. And if you can dial in marketing and learn from what Kent and myself talk about all the time, now it's just about converting more of those leads into customers.
Absolutely. So Michael, I know you're pressed for time, so I want to be very respectful of your time, and then Justin and I can pick up on the back end here. But inside of the sales process, period, in any sell, right? Whether it's real estate or otherwise. And that's what we're talking about here, selling an idea, closing somebody. One of the things you and I've spent a lot of time talking about over the years is that it really starts much further up inside of the funnel, right? At the very top of the funnel, what that prospect has been led to believe prior to you ever getting belly to belly with them is extremely important all the way through the whole cycle here. So, and I know you spent the last couple of days working with a lot of people training on this. So I'm going to kind of hand it over to you for a minute, kind of walk somebody through the basics here.
Perfect. And I'm excited about this because you're speaking my language. And I will tell everyone watching, if you're new to either of these two gentlemen, I will tell you that I would, like Kent says, he turns over the communication, the influence portion to myself. I will tell you that if you ever wanted to know the ins and outs of everything, investing, real estate, making money in that area, you got the two best minds in the world sitting here looking at you with this. So I'm thrilled to talk about this discussion. And recently somebody asked me about, why we do what we do. And I'm going to throw a little thought at everyone here listening right now. And to get what it is you want in this world, somebody asked me why we do what we do. And I said, one of the biggest beliefs I have in this world is that communication is the most underdeveloped and underutilized asset towards getting anything you want in this world. And most people don't recognize whether it's dealing with your kids to get them to do their homework, whether it's, dealing with a bad day, or dealing with negotiating or an investment deal, or working on closings. All of it comes down to your ability to effectively communicate what it is you want. So what I want to talk about is the process. I spent about the last 2 days working with people like you that have ideas and concepts, things they want to pull off. And for whatever reason, there's a block. And almost everybody comes to me and goes, well, what do you say when they say this? And I sat there for about an hour listening to objections. And I recognized, I go, everyone here is doing all of this wrong. Because if you're getting objections at the end, you did your entire process incorrectly. So everything that we teach when it comes to influence is to handle up front the relationship, and to handle the relationship and the expectations in advance. So a couple of keywords I'm gonna share with you that'll go for all aspects of your life is that when dealing with money or dealing with people, you're dealing with two very, very big things. I want you to imagine just for a second that everyone you're dealing with is in a box, right? They're in a box, they live their life currently. Whether you're asking them to sell you their property, or you're putting together a wholesale deal, or you're looking, no matter any aspect of your business, whatever it is you're dealing with, looking to flip something, working with your contractors, whatever it is, there is a way that people do something, this box. And then you're asking them to step out of what they're doing and to literally do something else, whatever that something else is. You're asking them to do something outside their comfort zone, and you're asking them to involve two things that make people uncomfortable. Decision-making, which scares the shit out of everybody, even if it's going to eat, or exchanging money. Like, these are things that people are uncomfortable with as human beings. So our job is to find a way to lower the resistance in those people, increase the receptivity right off the back. So if I were to give you a couple little tips in advance when dealing with people, and I'm gonna throw back to Kent and Justin for a few seconds on this. Walk me into a scenario that these people would be in. I would love like a real world equation. John, Susie, Bill, you give me the scenario, and I will give everybody here a taste of what we're going to be doing here in October. It's a little taste of the idea. So could you, either of you two, give me a scenario of some situation that literally these people will be in? And
Go
I
ahead,
would
Jay.
love to. Justin, you want to hit me with one of those?
Yeah, let's use a typical family member died, and they need to sell the home for multiple reasons, mostly financial. The other would be emotional, where they want to kind of get rid of the memories.
Okay, very good. So are they looking to get out of it right away, and then we're negotiating with them the price?
Yeah, let's play they're not sure what to do yet because it's so recent.
Very good. Okay, so this type of stuff's going to happen. You're going to have people that pass away. And one of the things that I've realized, and this is a really interesting frame to put on, is that when it comes to objections, or it comes to emotions that you're dealing with, I like to call that stuff baggage. And the baggage that somebody hands you is typically going to be a matching collection to the baggage that you have in your life. So if you've dealt with loss, or you've dealt with death, or you've dealt with a parent that's been sick, or a problem, typically the people that you run into are going to have similar baggage, or similar objections, or similar issues, the things you've dealt with in your life. So one of the first things we've got to do is really clear the deck and recognize that this is not happening to me. This is them. And this is a business transaction. It's not like we can't be emotional. It's not like you can't care. It's not like you're not interested about their feelings. But immediately yourself, you got to clear the deck inside your mind and go, okay, got it. Susie, Bob, Bill, somebody died. We've got to help them with the situation. So being able to comfort them and be with them during this, you have to make certain that you explain to them how the process is going to go. So what I've recognized is there's a couple of frames that you can take on. Frame number one is, hey, I'm here. I'm here to save the day. I'm going to give you some money to get you out of your problem. That's frame number one. Frame number two is, I'm going to turn this over to you, and I want to make this as effective as possible. What I've recognized, if you tell people that you've been in this situation before, whether you have or not, I'm not asking anybody to lie, but if you say, I've been around the block, and I've been trained to deal with this type of situation. This type of stuff happens, and how we deal with this in our company, getting you out of the situation you're in, is a very simple 4-step or a very simple 5-step process that we do as a company. And I'd love to walk you through all of those things and make this as comfortable as possible. The second you tell somebody that you've done it before and that you have been through it before and you label it, like one of the things that I'm going to teach in October is something called the 4-step process. And the second you tell somebody you have a process, it's like telling them on Amazon.com, just come here and I'll get you what you need. People do not question the price on Amazon for a very specific reason. It's worked before, it worked for others. Everybody talks about it. It's a known fact. It's a known thing in business. So what I always tell people in this type of situation is, look, I've been here before. It's a very simple 4-step process that we have in our company. Number one is, I want to talk to you about how this deal is going to go, what's going to happen next, and being able to, what I would say, prophesize or be able to tell people in advance what the next steps are in advance, like literally step by step, people start to get comfortable. Our entire job is to take people step by step and make it comfortable. And if you make things comfortable all the time, people stop asking questions about finances. They stop asking questions about money or the cost of the deal. Your job is to make this as easy and painless as possible for them. So what I like to tell people in a situation like that is, first step is, we're going to get on the phone and we're going to talk about this a little bit and find out exactly what your end game is, what you want to see happen. Then step number two is, we're going to go, and I don't know what all the steps are, and I'll talk with you guys. You guys can fill in the blank. I've done a few real estate transactions myself, but it doesn't matter what you're selling or what it is that you're doing. What matters most is letting people know, because when the human being understands, I've been there before, and they also understand that what you said was going to happen actually happened, the trust builds. So there's an influence technique that I share all the time that is, when 3 things are true, the 4th automatically becomes true. And I'm not certain why that is. It's not something I looked up in Google. It's something I've been teaching for years. So if you told this person, hey, over the course of the next couple of weeks, because this person passed away, you're probably going to get a lot of stuff in the mail. There's going to be a lot of junk mail that you're going to get, people wanting to take this house. I just want to warn you in advance, you're going to get those things. Or you're going to start getting phone calls, or letting somebody know what's going to happen next. And if that does happen, they're like, whoa, he was right. Whoa, Justin was right. Whoa, this is the way it works. So where do we run into the negotiation issue, Justin? Where does that come in on the financial side? Because I want to show everyone how to make people comfortable. And when you do this, folks, and you get so good at this stuff, you will never wait online at restaurants again. You are never going to have to, you're going to be negotiating with your kids. They're going to want to get their homework done. When you're dealing with, in business transactions, folks, if you're ever dealing with the flip side of business, you got to deal with contractors. You've got to get those guys on your team also. You also have to find a way to work with the banks well. You got to work with the city, the state, whatever it is you're dealing with. We've got to get so good with people so your life is easy. I was talking to Kent about this earlier. You want time back? Become a more effective, faster communicator. You become more influential, you will get hours back in your week. You're going to get months back in your year by being able to get things across quickly. So let's talk about the negotiation side of this. Where does the uncomfortableness start to come in, Justin, with this whole thing? Because I know what it is, but I want you to say it.
Yeah. So before we get there, I just want to kind of make it very relevant to real estate investing specifically, what you just said, because my phrases might be a little different than yours, but lowering their guard or their resistance is paramount out of the gates. You absolutely have to do that. And when I go into a transaction or when I train people, you have to be able to let them know it's okay that if you don't make a decision today.
Yep.
Because what they feel is pressure. Oh shit, I'm meeting with a real estate investor. Oh my God, I'm going to have to sell my home. Oh my God, I'm going to have to look at your review documents. Allowing them to know that it's okay that if we don't make a decision today, that we just start the process of talking about selling your home and potentially me buying it. That's really the main goal here. And then
One thing, Justin, before we go too much further, because I got some people that are asking questions. And Mike, I want to be, again, very sensitive to your time. And then Justin, I want you to give him the financial things. Guys, I want everybody that's watching this to know that I'm watching the comments on Facebook and here, and a lot of stuff's coming up here. We are doing a very specific training on this October 5th and 6th in Phoenix, Arizona, that myself and Michael and Justin are doing. It's called a Boardroom Intensive. The only topic for 2 days is exactly what we're doing right here. It is limited to 20 people. If you're interested in attending that, you or your acquisitions person or your sales rep or whoever, this is the perfect opportunity to learn from the best of the best of the best. And so I'd invite you to go to reww.com/intensive. That's reww.com/intensive. And get registered there before. But out of this, I can tell you that all of those seats will be taken. So anyway, Justin, keep going. I had a lot of questions, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands that there's no way we're going to be able to get all the way down to the weeds of this over a 30 or 45 minute period. But that's the reason why we set
not a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you brought up the first and most important point: lower the resistance. So I will straight out of the gate let them know that they do not have to make a decision today, that this is the start of the conversation, that you should not feel any pressure. I don't want you to feel pressure. We just want to start the conversation about what it would look like if we can make a good fit happen. Is that fair to you, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller? That immediately takes the pressure off them, because when people feel that pressure, then they immediately shut down. They put their walls up. They just, all right, look at the home and be gone, right? So that helps there. And then, Michael, your next point is dead on as well. And in real estate, how I would allow them to understand the process is similar to what you're saying is, hey, I've done this roughly 1,000 times before in all different situations. And quite frankly, I've done this in a very similar situation that you're in where a loved one died. It's not easy, but I'm here to help. And so what will likely happen is we'll talk today, we'll walk your home, I'll ask you a couple questions, and we'll feel out whether this is going to be a good scenario to continue talking further. If we believe it's a good scenario, if we believe that we're a good fit for you to sell and for me to buy, then yes, we can then talk about where the numbers might land and how the process looks. Is that pretty fair for you to understand kind of the next steps here, Mr. Seller? When I do just that in this very specific niche of real estate investing, it does exactly what Michael just talked about in his 2 points.
Let me say something real quick. Because Justin, what you're talking about, you're saying it in a conversational way, which is amazing. But one of the things that, Michael and I worked on this a long time ago in Memphis Invest, right? Very specifically, the 4-step process. And and we still use it today. And to the point where I teach it now, and where I talk about this openly because it's so effective. For the beginners that are out there, the people that are just starting, or the people that are struggling with conversion, I highly recommend you literally outline it as 4 steps. The way Justin just talked about it, literally say it the way Michael talked about it. Hey, we have a 4-step process here. The way this is going to look is I'm going to come out, look at your property, walk the property. 2, I want to get to know you, want to understand what's going on in your life. I want to clearly understand what your motivation is. 3, we'll look at some comps and we'll understand what the market is working on. And then 4, we'll decide if we're a good fit. That one little thing they go from this to this.
Yep.
They're just like,
100%.
I get it now, right?
We taught that yesterday, and it blows the minds of anybody because it is transparently, and it's going to take, I could explain this, Ken, for 7 minutes right now. I can even explain it for an hour. It is going to take a couple of days to literally sink it into your nervous system and integrate it as a person. Because we were in Memphis, we spent 2 full days just like that intensive.
Right.
And I'll tell you what you paid me to be there versus what this offer is for, your group at Boardroom is radically different. So you guys are getting a steal for the same thing. That process is responsible for a few $100 million in sales. I've taught that to large corporations. I've taught that to real estate groups. I've taught it to, it is amazing what it does. And I just taught it yesterday to some of the highest level marketers in the world. And they were floored by it because it literally is. And I'm going to give you the 5-minute sneak peek. This will change your life. It's literally saying to somebody, I'm going to be totally transparent and tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to invite you into the sales process so you know exactly what's going to happen next. So every card is on the table. I'm even going to tell you when I'm going to build rapport with you. I'm going to show you what I have. You, Mr. Seller, are in full control, but you're not. Does that make sense? Because I'm in control because I made the process up. And
Right.
B, I'm getting out of the way the jack in the box. And let me just be very clear about the jack in the box on the phone here for all of you. Here's what the jack in the box is. I meet people that have companies that do 100 million bucks a year that are still scared to sell. Selling is not the most comfortable thing in the world. It is something called risking the relationship. And anytime you're married, you gotta have a tough conversation to make the relationship better. To go from a non-buyer to a buyer, you have to risk that they might not like you or you may make them uncomfortable. You've got to risk that actual relationship. So getting comfortable with that is part of the process. So we're teaching you dribbling or passing or everything. Here's the 4-step process, very simple. I would say to somebody, look, this is a very simple 4-step process for doing business with us. First step is I want to make certain we get along. I'll tell you what they are right now, but then I'm going to break it down over hours together to make certain you get this. And you see the link for that intensive? I would click that now because when Kent and I talked about it, there's going to be a number on that page. I'm a believer of the 20% rule, and the 20% rule works like this. If you can pay 20% once of a future transaction, and the average transaction you make in real estate is at least $10,000, and still be able to get paid over and over and over again for the rest of your life, that's a powerful thing. Because once you learn this, this will make you a fortune long-term. And better than money, it'll eliminate frustration. It'll eliminate doubt. It'll eliminate, like, I was drooling that you literally in 2013, I believe it was, still memorized that one topic. Here's the 4-step process. It's getting them to want to get along with you. It's number 2, telling them in advance, I'm going to find out exactly what you want, and I'm going to reveal to you at least 50 questions that you can ask to get to the real psychology of the person. Asking questions about what could go wrong, what could go right. So they're like, no one's ever asked me this before. You must be a friend. You must be somebody I can trust. Number 3, getting permission to show the offer. And number 4, eliminating the jack in the box. And here's the jack in the box. Dun, 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 dun. When are they going to sell? Dun, dun, dun. When's it going to pop? Dun, 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 dun. Holy shit. Dun, dun, dun. Do I ask? Do they not ask? Does this work? Does this not work? Instead, you're just going to say up front, if it's okay, I'm going to make an offer today. And it immediately eliminates all the confusion, all the frustration. And I've only shared this with about 20 or 30,000 people over the world and at least 1,000 companies. And like Kent said, I keep on hearing all the time. I had a lady that owns a bridal company use this, Kent, outside of this industry. She was making $300,000 a year in a bridal company. I taught the 4-step process to a group. They did 2.3 million last year. Wow. And it's amazing. And the only thing different in the company is 5 of their people are all doing verbatim this. So if you've got a sales team,
I teach it all the time. I teach it all the time. It's so powerful. Well, and then the other side of this, that it gives somebody, especially the new people, right, that are doing only a few deals, or that are, the people that struggle with this, is it gives you structure.
Yep.
Right? It gives you the structure of the transparency, right? Like I've laid it, like you said, I laid it all out there. I clearly know what's going to happen, and now I'm comfortable. I don't have to think about what's going to happen next and what are the objections, which is how we started here. What are the objections that are coming? It gives me the opportunity to deal with all the objections in advance, and then get to that 4th step where now we decide if we're a good fit. Now, are there still going to be objections there? Of course, but to your point, all of the pressure has come down. All of the resistance has come down. We've greased the gears in the conversation. And again, this is not a one-size-fits-all. This is one strategy, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be talked about at this upcoming intensive of multiple strategies. This is one thing, but this one thing, I can tell you, we use it every day in our business. As Michael talked about, we hired Michael to come out many years ago, paid a shit ton of money to get him out there to train our sales staff. And it was,
sounds like it was worth it.
It was well worth it, right? So much worth it, quite frankly. He'll tell the story where in the middle of the very first day, in the very first morning, as he's talking, I'm like, I got to go do this right now. Literally left the room and go implement shit that I was hearing because it was that powerful, that fast.
I get insecure thinking, why is he leaving the meeting? I'm like, what the hell's going on? And you're like, it's okay. Don't even worry about it. It's okay. And you went and used it on a webinar immediately.
Right. It's actionable. That's the point, right? It's actionable. It's stuff that you can start using the moment you get home, even on the next phone call, that you're going to walk out of there understanding how, if you walk into, here's the thing I would tell you, if you walk into a conversation and you don't understand this, but your competition does, I can assure you, you are already dead in the water, right? You may not realize that you've been beaten yet, but you've been beaten. Because somebody that comes in and understands how to frame a conversation, how to pre-frame a conversation even before this, to where when they walk in, they clearly understand that we've got our shit together, you'll lose every single time. There's just no way to combat that, because you're out there kind of just slinging shit up against the wall and hoping something sticks. And it does stick every once in a while, but the whole point of this is to be advanced, to clearly understand there's a skill here that is so amazing. When you learn it, you'll get more listings, you'll get more deals, you'll make more money. And it's just the structure of the conversation and the structure of pre-framing that conversation matter. And it will absolutely change everything about you. Michael, anything else? I know you got
a couple more things. I'm just going to tease everybody here right now. And Kent, I'm going to tell you, I could be done today. Just hearing that you are still using, which I knew that, but just hearing it one more time, that is like watching your kid slam dunk. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is one of the greatest things in the world, watching somebody use something for so long and how much it's done for you. Couple of the teases, and I got to run and get out of here in about a minute and a half, is really, really look at it this way. Biggest sales pitch you've got to make in sales is selling the value of yourself, that you matter, and really owning the fact that if you're hearing this and going, I need to get better at this, do what you're asking people to do. You can't ask someone to make a decision if you don't make one yourself. I make no money saying this. I'm just excited to share and offer this to you guys and really bring this out. If you know that you could get better at influence, if you really accept the fact that you have not really spent a lot of time and energy and money in your life really becoming a better communicator, own that. It will change your business. I'm going to be sharing the 21 words to make anybody say yes to anything. I'm going to be sharing 8 words to avoid like the plague that you got to pull out of all your marketing, all your sales pitch, literally all of that. The 4-step process. I'll be breaking down, overcome almost any objection, how to build what I call a short tail, which is a short little story, which instantly, if you watch the show Billions, it's what all those attorneys do. Little teeny stories that you can use to alter somebody's perspective of things and get them comfortable with what's going on. I'm also going to teach you pre-framing, reframing, future pacing, and all this other ninja magic. So I got a lot to give you. I'm really excited, and I want to empower the world. I mean, real estate is the fastest, most powerful way for you to create wealth in your life. But if you can't talk about it, communicate about it, it doesn't matter. Okay, I want to share that with you. So anything else you want me to share, Kent? If not, I'm running out the door.
I appreciate you, brother. Justin and I will stay on for a few more minutes and answer some questions with the people and talk a little bit about some of our experience. And then I'll see you in a few weeks at the event.
Yep, see you in a couple of weeks. We'll put it all together. And folks, if you're watching this, make the sales pitch on yourself right now. Truly do it. Click the link. I guarantee those 20 spots are going to be filled by the end of about 15 minutes from now or so, and be one of those people. I'm excited to meet you. I'm more excited to hear about what this did for you a couple of weeks and months later, so you get to be Kent, 3 years later, tell me how much money you made. Later, everyone.
See you, brother.
Later, dude.
Later.
So Justin, let's keep it going here and talk about when we're dealing with when we're in the conversation, kind of echoing what Michael was talking about. When you get into the room and you get at the kitchen table, living room table, whatever the case may be, what's one of the most valuable things you can share with our group right now, and how to win in that kind of environment, right? How you're winning more deals than your competitor.
Yeah, I think we did a great job outlining the 4 steps. Brilliant. And now you're in the conversation. Now, how are you going to take that conversation to the next level of being able to buy the deal, win the deal? One of the first things I always want to make sure, are they really looking to sell? Like, I want to push them to the point of them selling me on, this is real, I want to sell. So I continue to kind of push them away. I call it push them away. There's other sales terminology for it. But I will say things about our really.
You're breaking up really bad, brother. I don't know if that's on your end or my end. We can't hear you.
Damn.
Try again.
All right.
Try again.
The one thing I always try to do is what happens. This is hard. So there's probably another sales terminology for that.
All right. Done. Pulling the plug. Your internet sucks. Apparently the hamster hasn't been fed.
Damn it. Hamster's not fed. Hang tight.
I don't know what you're doing over there, but it ain't working. Here's the bottom line, guys. Let me, while he's working on his internet connection, let me work on something here with you for a minute. here's what I want you to understand. Because somebody asked the question a second ago about cash buyers. Whether it's cash buyers or private lenders or motivated sellers, it doesn't matter. You're always in a negotiation with somebody, right? And so you need to understand that the conversations that are going on are critical. They're important. They matter. The words you use matter. The mannerisms you use, the way a conversation is structured matters. All of this, that, you know, there's a lot of nonverbal signs that are going on when you are selling or negotiating or communicating with somebody that are clearly speaking to the other person's subconscious on whether you are congruent or incongruent. Is this somebody that's telling me what I want to hear and they've got my best interest in mind, or they somebody that truly is on my side? And stuff that most people are never aware of. You know, what Michael was talking about a second ago, the future pacing of somebody, right? When you go into a situation and you future pace, tell them that, hey, this is what's coming. You're building trust, you're building rapport, you are breaking down barriers, you're greasing the gears, you're making them feel very comfortable. When you clearly lay out what's coming down, there are no objections. The exact same thing, by the way, with a cash buyer. When you go in with a cash buyer and you're talking to them, somebody asked the question, how do I get more cash buyers where they're not going to go around me? Very simply, the very first conversation you have with a cash buyer, you clearly lay out, this is what it looks like to do business with me. And this is what it doesn't look like. And every deal that's coming down the line, I'm going to go record and cloud the title. If I find out that you tried to negotiate around me, you lose the opportunity to do business with me. And I bring so much value to you, and I'm so important, and I'm so good at what I do. Why the hell would you ever do that? I'm future pacing you. I'm telling you what's going to happen in advance if you screw this up. I'm clearly laying out in a very transparent way. I'm controlling the conversation, and therefore I'm controlling the influence and the negotiation. But I'll give you another really good example of this, on how it actually starts prior to this, is that if you pick up the phone and you call a cash buyer blindly, you're no longer in control. You immediately sound like a telemarketer. So trying to be in control and be powerful when you're on bended knee begging them to do business with you doesn't work. It's not congruent. So people ask me all the time, why is it can't you mail cash buyers and make them call you? Because the moment they call me, I'm in control. I get to control the conversation. It's my business. You called me, raised your hand and said you needed help from me. That puts me squarely in control. While I'm calling you on bended knee, begging you to do business with me, or that's what it feels like, you're in control. That's the pre-frame. That started way up in the funnel. It's way before the conversation. I'm thinking about it even further down the line before we get on the conversation, how that person is going to perceive me. So we're going to talk about all of this stuff in a very, very detailed way to really, really help you guys. Justin, I know you're back. You want to try?
Yeah. So I think all of this is so great. And I think we're doing our very best right now to kind of smash 2 days, 3 days, a week worth of training into kind of like 45 minutes. And there's so much to go into what you just said, because that is directly, you know, how do you have that conversation where out of the gates you're on? That is a skill, and you need to practice that skill. And it's not natural to most people. And for people who have done it for years, it's still not that easy. And so there's so much that goes into this, right? And you know, who holds the cards, who holds the power, who's actually in control of the conversation. And it's not as easy as just saying, you know, whoever's asking 10,000 foot view, sure, that's the answer we'll give you. But we're going to really deep into this and how to overcome the objections from a homeowner and how to make sure that, you know, they're wanting to sell you the home. You're the right fit. How do you do that? What questions are you asking? Before I cut out, I was talking about how I use the technique of pushing them away. So boomer come back twice as hard, right? That's my technique. It works great. But for some people, that might be difficult because I'm literally like pushing them away, saying, doesn't sound like you're ready to sell. Doesn't seem like you're serious right now. And I what I call mirror them. And that a lot of times helps them fight to say, no, I really want to sell. I really want to get this done. I'm tired of you know, thinking about this or dealing with this or whatever. And they start selling themselves to me. And that's a technique that you have to practice. None of this, what Michael said, Kent said, myself, comes naturally. You have to train. And that's why Kent, myself, and Michael are doing this 2 days, because It's more than just scripts. It's more than just knowing the words. It's how you're doing it and being able to maneuver based around how the other person is responding to it. And so again, this is well beyond this. And again, Michael said it, like 20 seats, that's probably already gone. We want to spend 2 days straight talking about this, specific to real estate, specific to human communications. How do humans communicate? How do they feel? Why do they feel that way? And how to navigate that in these very unique circumstances where they're trying to sell their home, which, by the way, is only the biggest transaction of their lives. And for the most part, they've never done it before. They've owned the home for 40, 50 years, right? They're an older couple, or, you know, they're trying to upgrade and they're a young couple or whatever, or they're in financial difficulties and they lost their jobs and this is the first home they bought. So they've never had to sell a home. So they don't know anything, right? So this is a massive, massive decision they're making. So you have to be incredibly good at it, right? And that's why I focus on marketing and sales and persuasion and influence, because that is the name of the game. So
it is, baby. Look, we know this is a big problem. We know this is a big challenge, and we know there are a lot of you that are looking for answers here. So I want to, again, personally invite you to come hang out with us October 5th and 6th in Phoenix. Quick little 2-day event. Going to be 20 people there. I think it's actually going to be a total of 30 people. We'll have 10 of our boardroom guests there as well. We're going to have the opportunity to get to know a lot of people, but also have the opportunity to get all of your questions answered, opportunity to work with the best in the industry at this, right? People that have done 5,000 transactions, 1,000 transactions, people that have worked with hundreds of thousands of people on this very specific topic. But instead of sitting in a room with 200, 300, 400 people, or even 2,000, you're going to sit in a room with 20 or 30. And we're going to do a lot of role playing. We're going to do a lot of getting down in there and making sure that the acquisitions team specifically, as well as the sales team specifically, has the skills they need to go out and crush it in the industry right now. Because I will leave you with this. The industry's changing, baby. And it's changing in a massive, massive way. And the people that excel when an industry starts flipping, when an industry starts changing, are the people that are improving their skills and the people that are treating it like a business. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. So again, right there, go to reww.com/intensive. reww.com/intensive. The link is, I've shared it several times to the participants here, and we've shared it on Facebook. Go there, click the link, get registered for one of the seats. Once those 20 seats are gone, they're gone. Not any kind of sales ploy or anything else. There's going to be 20 seats sold, and then it's gone. And it's a small, intimate environment sitting in a boardroom. And so when you get there, like I said, we're going to break it all down for you, and you're going to walk out of there much better prepared for the changes that are coming and much better prepared to crush it moving forward. With that, guys, thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Be on the lookout. We're going to start doing a lot more of these lives, sharing with you what's going on out there and trying to improve your skills. So until we see you, peace. And for those of you that are already signed up, which my phone is buzzing away here, letting me know I'm getting orders, tickets are selling. So rather than me look down at my phone, I will just congratulate you guys and let you know that we will see you in a few weeks. Peace. See you.
Later.